Do you have got any idea about what is SOP? SOP is nothing but it's a statement of purpose. Why do we write SOP and what is the necessity of this SOP? Have you got any idea? Please, if you know about this, just you can unmute and talk. Any idea? Have you got any idea? Okay, no issue. If you do not know anything about this, probably you could have heard about it. Let me go one by one. So SOP means, as I already told you, it is a statement of purpose. And why do we write SOP? In general, based on the objective, the SOP may differ. Probably even sometime you write SOP for the job applications also. For as a student, you will be writing SOP for your postgraduate graduate application in the foreign universities. When you apply for MS in other universities, the SOP is very vital in your application. There are so many procedures there. In that, SOP is one part of important part of the application. Statement of purpose. The what do you call, the phrase says statement of purpose, it tells about the purpose of the main purpose, or you are writing this statement of purpose should reflect in your SOP, and it should convince readers. Readers mean here, see, as you are a undergraduate students, assuming that when you apply for your MS, so you will be writing SOP. So in that assumption, when you write SOP, you should write SOP in such a way that you should convince your reader. Who will be your reader? The readers will be the faculty on the selection committee, because when you write SOP, when you apply via online to the MS or any other university, it will be read by a selection committee, members of the selection committee. It may, the members may be comprised of faculty members, sometimes administrative staff, that is the admission section staff also may read it. So you need to make sure that your statement should convince the the selection committee for that particular degree or whatever the thing you apply for. So you have to write SOP keeping those things in your mind. And very importantly, the solid achievements you need to showcase in your SOP, because based on your SOP only they will be deciding whether to give you admission or not. So you have to make sure that SOP is the selling point for you. It's kind of, you are selling yourself to the other universities to hire you as a post grad. For that you need to write in such a way that what are the major things you have achieved in your undergrad, and why do they give admission to you in the post grad. You should explain all those things clearly. Come, let's see one by one. First of all, you need to know, as we discussed in resume writing, what is the maximum page limit of resume? One of you just highlight, tell me.
2 is recommended, but 3 is maximum.
Okay, very good. 2 is recommended, 3, the worst case, it can go to 3 pages. Similarly, the statement of purpose, 1 is recommended, 1.5 is maximum, that's it. You cannot write more than that. 90% you have to complete within 1 page, because they will not read very lengthy kind of thing. General, they'll give a format also, it should be 3 paragraph or 4 paragraph. Within 1 page you should condense all the information and you have to write. Because when you write more, it means that you seem lacking your focus, you are unable to condense you are unable to condense and precisely present the information within a page. So it is very important. Brevity is key in the statement of purpose. So in that case, you cannot write each and every word must be powerful word, because whatever you want to convey, you must use very powerful. You should articulate in such a way that it really talks about, it reflects about your own quality. So for that, you have to take a statement of purpose. The time you need to take for the statement of purpose, minimum a month. You should take minimum 1 month time to prepare. Probably first you can make a sketch, then you can have probably a skeleton, then you can fill up in a first paragraph something, second paragraph, third paragraph. In that way you have to write some random idea, then you can refine. In that way you have to do a multiple revisions of your statement of purpose, so that you will get a very fine statement of purpose. There are 4 sections. There are so many models are there. I have taken one of the models available in one of the university website. I have given the references at the end. So they have advised us to divide the statement of purpose into 4 sections, or you call it as a 4 parts. Within a page you should have a 4 part. These parts can be divided as a separate, can be given as a separate paragraph, or probably part 1 and part 2 you can give in one part 1, and you can go to the second thing as a second one. So you decide which style you want to follow, whether you want to go with the paragraph. So in a page you will write 4 paragraphs, or you write only 2 paragraphs. Paragraph 1, it's a big paragraph, comprises of both part 1 and part 2. You can decide that. So first thing, you have to introduce yourself with your interest and motivation. So who you are, what type of person you are. You should reflect your own personal characteristics, attitude and everything. And you need to start with the idea. You have to tell them what you are interested in, and especially what sparked your desire for this particular graduate, not that particular MS degree. Before that, you can take a thread from your undergrad, because generally from undergraduation only you will go to the some specialization of the postgrad. So you may start, why did you did first your graduation, that is your UG degree, undergraduate. How did you start that thing? What did motivate you to do that degree? From there, slowly you can take off to the postgrad. So in case, assuming that you are a electrical and electronics engineering student, and assume that you did derive, or you just cultivated interest in electrical components or electrical kind of thing right from your childhood days. Then slowly you wanted to explore certain things. So then you thought that it would be better to do a undergrad engineering in EEE. Then you started doing that thing. In that way you can say that. Now, since you have got everything, you understood and you really studied well, now you want to do a postgrad, that is MS in power systems. Probably power system is one of the core subjects of EEE. So now, how did you get interest to the power system? Probably you can again you can give a background information. What did really probably when you say that power system, you should definitely tell that why did you like that subject. Probably what are the new innovations and other thing it has come up, and what way you got interest towards that thing. You have to tell all those things for the postgrad. That's one point about starting about your interest in undergrad, and then later only you have to tell about the postgrad. So you have to decide, because I'll be showing you one example SOP at the end, then you will come to know that clearly. And as already you know that there is no necessity to reiterate that it should be precise, because you don't have much pages to write many things. So you have to always should be very short and to the point, and you cannot write too much of information which is not directly related to that particular application, please avoid it. Even you could have got a great achievement, you may be through your hobbies you could have achieved a lot of things, because during resume writing I've told you must mention all your hobbies. But here, hobbies, if they are not directly related to your study here, especially in the postgrad application, don't write anything about your hobby and other thing in detail. Probably you can mention 1 or 2 statements, but it should not be too much of thing about your hobby which is no way related to your postgrad. Then absolutely it is a waste of time. The application you have started in a wrong way. Make sure that you are not giving unnecessary information. And this is about the specific degree. Why did you join that degree and other stuff? Why do you want to join in coming postgrad also? Similarly, you have to give your background information also. Probably slightly you can talk about maybe your family, not in detail. Again, let me tell you, not in a very detail. It's probably 1 or 2 statement, 1 line, in case you want to project that you have really improved a lot, hailing from a rural background, but because of my own passion and interest in the electrical and electronics, I have achieved so many things. In that way you can start, then you can list out remaining things one by one. So that time it will become a great plus point, because even though you hailed from a rural background is always deprived of a lot of exposure, but still you have improved a lot of things in that particular field. It means that you are a really wonderful candidate. You are trying to prove that you are the best candidate for this particular admission. Next thing, as I already told you, your introduction should be relevant to the specific program you are applying to. Normally UG will have a very broad subjects of that particular discipline. When you go to the PG, it will become more specific. So when you write the program statement of purpose, please try to connect to the specific program. Don't try to connect to the entire EEE. See, power systems, maybe electrical devices, electronic devices, so many different subjects are there. In case you write more about electronic devices, which is not your postgraduate study, means it's of no use. Even though it is a part of core subject of EEE, it may not be relevant to the postgrad. So you have to write only things which are very relevant to the post graduation. Those information only you should give in the part 1. Very importantly, I have told you in the beginning of my lecture when I started, which particular thread it has really has helped you to become interested in this particular subject. That's what you have to clearly articulate your experience, or probably you can narrate your experience shortly, briefly, in a precise way, and how you came to be interested in that specific area of study. That is very essential, because if you do not establish that point in that particular thing, then absolutely your statement of purpose will become very weak. So be very clear that the spark and the start and how did you become interested in that particular thing, it will have a very valid point. That's a part section 1. It talks about a brief intro about yourself, how did you become interested in this particular subject, both in your undergrad and postgrad, and what are the other interests, and all here. See, the statement of purpose, everything, interest, motivation, everything should be related to your specific discipline of the study, not beyond the thing. Don't try to give here, because it's absolutely of no use. Next comes part 2. You have to summarize your undergraduate and previous graduate career. Here you need to tell your committee members that what are your achievements, what are the things you have learned from your undergrad, or probably even undergraduation. After undergraduation, probably you may not apply for MS immediately. You may go for work for 2 years. After the 2 years of work, then you may take off from the work, then you may go for MS. So in that time, you, in case after your undergraduation what you have learned, then in case you have worked after that, you have to inform them clearly what are the skills you have learned from your work experience also. First thing, from your degree you need to tell them what research you conducted. You may wonder what type of research you would do in the UG. As during the research related videos lecture I have told you that, because when you are very clear about your research methodology and the what you call pattern, you will be able to write to your research paper. You can get it published, because I talked about how to publish a research paper also in the beginning. And normally you would work with your core subject teachers for your major project, maybe in third year and final year. Some other minor project with other subject teachers also, probably even humanities teachers, even our other science teachers. You will work with them for small project like PBL and other thing. There, that type of research, in case you have done really well, you have what you call got some publication, probably you have published a paper in conference or a journal. All those details you must bring in this thing. The second part, in the research, in case you have conducted research in you published it, please try to briefly tell those information in this second part summary. And if you remember, I have told you that one of my students applied for MS, and I have told you what she did write a paper with along with me, then we published it. I told you I have given a model paper also to you. So that paper can be brought here as a research paper, because we conducted a research. She is applying for MS data science, I guess, and she did a not a data science, I think neuroscience. So she wanted to prove that she did some basic research related to psychology. That's why we did some psychology related things. She came to me. We just analyzed how the student psychology is there in the large classroom setup in India. Similarly, you may conduct some type of research with your teachers, so that those things you can bring it here. That's one, number one. Number two, you can talk about your mini projects and major projects. In case there is outcome in the project, it has been published. Your project also can be published as a paper. You converted paper as your project as a research paper. That also can be mentioned here. And in case you have got a pattern after your project, because there are a lot of students, I know that after their project they convert into a pattern, because when they do a really wonderful innovative project, they can apply it to the pattern and they can get a patent also. So if they have got any pattern, that and all, it's a great weight, you will get a great weightage for these things. And very importantly, you should mention about with whom you have worked for your research, which professor, what's his area of interest, all those things. Because when you mention about the professor name, assuming that he is a very big expert in the field, means that will become a very value addition to your SOP. When you have worked with a great expert in that particular field and you have brought out the paper, it means that you have really done a wonderful job in our UG research. So you must mention about the affiliation and with whom you have conducted the research. Probably you can write about the professors, maybe 1 or 2 lines. That's very important. The reason is your statement of purpose will be read by some other professors who is working in that particular university, because professors will be the part of the selection committee, and when they read, they will be able to connect it very well, what type of professor you have worked in for your UG degree, UG project and other thing, and definitely they will be able to identify and establish some kind of credibility about your application based on your statement about your research. So you have to clearly mention about the professors with whom you have worked for your UG research. And is there any other thing which you have prepared on your own also, without the help of the professor? You yourself and one of your friend from other institution, or you did some collaborative project with the other student, maybe same college or other university, maybe in India or abroad. That also can be brought here. That will have it's a joint collaborative project that will also have a great valid point. And if you are a fresher applying for MS, this will not applicable to you, that work experience. and only it will be applicable to those who work in a company. But the freshers also may have some kind of work experience through internships. In case you have got some internships during your maybe second year, third year, and you did a 1 month internship or a 2 month internship or a 15 days internship. In case you did an internship in a very big company, it's really worth mentioning that you can mention it as a work experience, as an internship, and you can mention it during that internship. What was your exact role? What was the assigned responsibility to you? How did you execute? And if you have got any feedback for your job or any certification or probably any appreciation after your internship also, you can clearly mention those things in the what you call second part, not a second paragraph. I am telling second part because each part can have a 1 paragraph or a 2 paragraph. It's up to you, but maximum allowed length is only 1.5 page. So keep those things in our mind. I am telling about first part already we discussed. We are discussing second part. So the second part, 2 things already told you. One is about the research. In the research it comes, one is paper publication in conferences, paper presented in conferences, and paper published in journals. And next comes a project. It can be a mini project and major project, core project or allied project, anything which you have done with any teacher, you can mention it. And you have to mention about with whom you have did a collaborative project, with the professor or any other fellow student. Is there any joint project or a joint paper you have done, you have prepared, you have presented, or you have published with any other student of your own institution or other institution also, that can be brought here. And third thing, as I already told you, internship can be brought as experience for the freshers. Those who really did work in a company, you can mention about your job portfolio and what did you exactly do there, and you can mention about all those things. So next comes part 3. Here only you have to discuss the relevance of your recent and current activities to this particular degree you are applying for. So see, the SOP should establish the fact that you are the right person to that particular admission. That's what the basic fact, you know. So here, after writing about your background information, then about your study and other thing, here you should justify what are the way all those things are relevant to the current, the current activities will be highly relevant to your future study also you should establish. For example, let me tell you that in case you want to do a power system, as I already told you the example, and you prepared a paper on the power system, you worked for a mini project with your teacher and you published a paper. Then you did go for an internship training in one of the power system company, and you did learn a lot of latest technology also from them. And then you did work with other student for a collaborative project for the same power system, another thing. And now you need to tell about these 3 components. One is research project with the teacher, other project with your fellow friends, other thing about some internship training. All these 3 things, what are the things you have learnt exactly, and how did you decide to do the post graduation, what way it would be useful for the post graduation, why you wanted to do why do you want to do a post graduation, all those things. Taking the thread from these 3 area, you have to justify, very important thing, you have to justify all your activities already you did in the UG degree or through your work, all highly relevant to your post graduation which you are going to apply. You have to mention a clear connection. You have to synthesize the the connection between your experience and the thing you are applying for. That's what very important. And here if you look at the last line here, you can also indicate here how this helped you focus your graduate studies, because when you mention about all these achievements, you can clearly tell them that what are the things you have learned from your teacher when you worked with the research project, what are the things you have learned with your fellow friends when you worked with a collaborative project or when you started writing a collaborative research paper. Similarly, when you did go for internships, what are the things you have achieved, what are the things you have learned. You have to clearly mention, creating a link with your future what you call the discipline you are applying for. Next comes the fourth part, elaborate on your academic interest. Here you should elaborate on the 4 section, probably in the part 4. The 3 points you should be very careful. One is indicate the area of your interest. That's what ideally you have to pose a question. You have to define a problem and indicate a theme that you would like to address and questions that arise from contemporary research. This should be what you call, everything should be written within a 1 paragraph, ample short paragraph. And when you are applying for the particular university, absolutely you should browse through that particular university. You would know about their curriculum, you would know about the professors, those who are available there, and in case you are applying for the power system, who are the professors are expert in that power system in that particular university, in case assuming that you are applying to the University of Toronto, Canada. In the engineering department, who are all, I'm not very sure whether they offer MS in power electronics. So in case they offer it, you have to go to that university website, then you have to go to the department, then you have to go to their curriculum and syllabus section. You should completely browse through the curriculum and syllabus, and whether whatever you wanted to do, as I mentioned as area of interest, whether are they addressing in their curriculum. In case you are doing something very cutting edge interest you have, but unfortunately that particular university, they do not have those elements in their curriculum, means again it is of no use to apply to that university, because your expectation is high but that university doesn't offer such kind of specialization, means you cannot apply. So you have to be very clear about whether your interest matches the university and their curriculum, all those things. You have to, before you start statement of purpose, you should browse through all this information, then only you should start writing. And the next thing you have to, this normally you know very well, whether you have to look for the information in the website or the professors whose research interest parallel to you. That's what I was talking about now. Once you know about the professors, those who are working in that particular university, and what are the research already you have conducted, as we discussed, when you for the example's sake, we had take power system, you did a 3 proper in the power system. If there is a professor who is already working in the power system in the same university, then there is a great scope for you to further elaborate, further explore. But none of the professors available in the specialization of the power system, but still you want to apply for the power system, then it's of no use, because there are no professors available for your specialization. Then absolutely they will not give you the admission. The reason is there is no one to guide you there. That's why they'll not select this a particular specialization in the PG admission. And finally you have to end your statement in a very very positive note, and what are the challenges you need to face, how you are prepared to face those challenges, also you can mention it, because that's very important. It will indicate them that how much you are ready to take up the particular course, and are you really aware of all those things. That will help you, because it is not simply writing sugar coated word that you are a great person and want to do everything. You must be, you should bring a lot of empirical point, that's practical, very practical aspects also you have to mention. They'll love to listen to the practical aspect. In case you give only utopian thoughts in the application, then they know very well that this will not work. To be very confident, very clear, and in case if it is difficult, you tell them that you will have a definitely very tough time to handle, but still you are highly prepared to handle that tough time. In that way you have to mention. But you cannot mention that there will not be any tough time in my post graduation, means you are lying. So when you lie, absolutely your application will get rejected. And apart from this final positive note, I would ask you to write one more thing. Finally, highly strongly emphasize why you are the right candidate for that particular program, why you must be given admission. You answer that question in the last statement. This can be brought in even in the beginning also, or at the end. At any point, either in the beginning or in the end, you must tell about them why should they give admission to you? What way you are a right candidate to them? Please state your reasons clearly. Though you have given all the first part, second part, third part, fourth part, finally you try to consolidate and again you reiterate that you are the right candidate for that particular course admission. These are the some other essential tips, probably some other tips to add. Simply you can read. First one, very importantly, the admission committee will read between the lines. Please do not underestimate that in India, people in the application, they simply browse through, they'll never read in detail. But in the foreign university MS programs, they'll take each and every application, read between lines, they'll try to understand each and everything. So please be very careful. They'll be checking, they'll want to understand that whether you are a self-motivated person, whether do you have a competence to take this particular postgraduate course, and whether, here I have mentioned as a graduate student, but postgraduate, they'll be checking it. So be very careful. And everything must be in a positive note. You are not advised to write in a negative note, a positive note, and use only active voice. Do not use the passive voice construction. Here it is an English structure. Don't use any passive voice, only use the active voice construction. And everything, whatever you write, please give sufficient example. Do not try to give some abstract statement. Nothing should be in abstract statement. Everything should be given in a detail with a perfect example or anecdote from your own experience must be given here. And the something, in case you have some kind of a grade or you had some bad experience also, you nothing wrong in straight away openly saying them that because of some medical reason or some other personal issue, one particular semester your grade has gone down, or you are unable to perform well in the particular semester or particular year. You can tell them clearly whatever the problem you had, and absolutely you can openly state that that's not a wrong actually. And the reason is, as I have given clearly, when you mention those things, it will be a really positive thing, because even despite of those problem, you have really worked very well, and finally you picked up and you are applying to the other university. They'll really understand that you are such kind of very hard-working person. They'll think that, and you definitely you are a right candidate because you work hard, and as well as you have done a smart work also. Even after such kind of problem, you did plan well and you did work well, then finally you got the almost a decent grade. Without decent grade, definitely you will not be able to apply any university. But you may not have the expected the grade, but the minimum eligibility you will have. So when you have a minimum eligibility, it means that you already worked hard, even though after such such kind of hardships you faced in your life. As I already told you, you gone down in your grade and other stuff. So you can openly state those things. And that's what, it's a very obvious thing. You have definitely, when you write from the line 1 to till the last line, you have to make sure that everything is linked properly. Further, please use proper transition words. In case if you have understood, I have told you in my during the research lecture videos, one video talked about how to use transition words in your research paper. So similar, that the same video, in case you want, you can go back and watch, and that will help you how to use the transition words in the research paper writing. The same transition words can be used for the statement of a purpose also. And that the main purpose of this transition word, it will bind the lines effectively. It will give you the gradual, natural flow your statement of purpose. And other thing, the pages and other thing I have already told you. The spacing, probably in case you have too much of information, you can follow the one spacing. You have less information, go to the 1.5. You have very less information, go to 2 point spacing in a page. So minimum it should be average, it should be 1.5, 12 size, Times New Roman or Lucida Sans or anything, any font which is very good for readability, you can go ahead with that thing. and margin, all the four side, that should be a 1-inch margin, and please justify the thing, the entire essay, and make sure that each paragraph has a topic sentence. That's what the sentence, and it's followed by the entire paragraph should talk about the same section, because when you talked about personal intro, you cannot write about your graduate achievement. So that paragraph should revolve around that one particular section. So when they go through your statement of purpose, each segment should talk about particular area clearly. These are the references I have used to make this presentation. You can go to these references also, and you can verify. And just a minute, let me show you the example. See, this is the SOP, statement of purpose for masters in data science. Just let me, we will read only first 2 lines how they have started, or you can understand. It wouldn't be wrong to infer that the modern era is ruled by data, both raw and actionable, with our travel plans, educational initiatives, and shopping habits manipulated by this extremely potent entity. So here, this 2.5 line talks about the importance of data, because you are applying for the masters in data science. So that's why you have iterated about why the data is important, what way it is going to be essential, and that we have mentioned. Look at the second line. With every online and offline activity generating humongous amounts of insightful data, it is appropriate that professionals devise extremely targeted techniques for assimilating, analyzing, and amalgamating the insights. MS Data Science is therefore ideal coursework that would allow me to progress in this extremely niche domain, besides deploying the concepts of engineering, computing, mathematics, and business for developing functional problem solving skills. So this statement talks about what MS Data Science will give it to you. This statement talked about again further additional points about the importance of the data. So similarly, when you analyze one by one, let me give the link of these things, you'll be able to access it, and you can check it up later, and this will help you a lot to understand. You can read and analyze one by one, you will get a clear idea. Look at there. Here he talks about the undergraduate. While I primarily talked about the target points leading to my course selection, what motivated me the most is my undergrad project selection. The moment I took up and started exploring more about predicting cyclones with machine learning at the helm, I slowly started realizing the true power of data. This is what the starting point, the sparking point. I already told you in the presentation what really sparked you to take up the data. See, data is the one part of your PhD degree, but data science is the PG degree. Full and full you are going to study about data science. But this is the starting point, the moment. This is what the triggering point. What triggered you? The moment I took up and started exploring more about predicting, because you are doing a project on the cyclone prediction with the machine learning, then you slowly started realizing the true power of data. This is the starting point of your interest towards data. And the next paragraph, it would be extremely appropriate to talk more about my undergrad degree program. Specifically, just a minute. Let us read. It would be extremely appropriate to talk more about my undergrad degree program, specifically in terms of domain selection, subjects relevant to my MS program, and the major motivators behind the same. Here, he has added a separate paragraph to clearly mention about what are the subjects related to the data science for his post graduation. He studied in UG itself. What are the subjects he has studied? What way it will be useful to him in the data science? All those things he has mentioned. And if you look at there, for example, look at that. During the coursework, I invested a lot of time in subjects like design and analysis of algorithm, software testing, database system, object-oriented system development, data warehousing, computational intelligence, information security, digital image processing, and more. So all these subjects are related to data science. So you are telling them clearly that you have a strong base for that MS data science. So these are the subjects you have studied, and further you have elaborated on that what way all these things will be going to be useful. Because I'm just giving only glimpses, you can do it in detail when you read the original thing in after taking this from the link. See, this is the one of the style which goes more than 2.5 pages. I would not advise you. There are so many unnecessary informations are there in this particular example SOP. So probably you can take it as a rough draft, not as a final draft. You can remove the unnecessary lines. For example, when you don't have a sufficient space, look at there. The introduction about the data science can be removed. See, this is, you are talking about the importance of data. See, when you have in case university asks you to provide a detailed SOP, then you can write like this. But university says that you should write only 1 page or 1.5 page. That time you don't need to give any introduction to the data. Straight away you can tell about, you can introduce about yourself, your interest and other things, which are what the 4 part section which I have discussed in the PowerPoint. You can go ahead with the same thing. For that, I have a next example, very short SOP with a 1 page. Look at this, a very short SOP. Let us see how it has been written. This is also about for the same data science, but it is simple, not very such a lengthy one. It's a very 1 page, and the words also very limited. But let us check how they have written. Look at there. Ever since my childhood, I have been curious and eager child. Computers have been the biggest part of my life. Now, with each passing year, my interest has grown manifold. I am particularly interested in studying data science since I realized that it can be used to develop marketing models, and that companies these days are starting to analyze big data sets to measure consumers' product preferences and make use of it to determine their future sales. So, he started from the UG interest, how he has got into computers, then from the computer, why do you want to do a data science? Very straight. Second thing, the multidisciplinary field of data science combines computer science with probability, statistics, analysis and management skills. Data science is also the answer to the most complex business and practical questions. I believe that data science is the future of artificial intelligence, and it is beneficial to learn about it more to cater to my interest. I hope to use the knowledge I will gain from my master's degree to perform meaningful analysis of large sets of data. So here another thing is very important. You must write about definitely 2 to 3 lines about that particular specialization, why it is important, why data science is important. So in that previous model, he started from the first line itself, but here he talked about his own interest, then the second paragraph he talks about the data science. Third thing, I have been intensively involved in learning math throughout my education and had a particular interest in the subject. I am familiar with the concepts such as multivariable calculus, elementary statistics and probability theory. You may wonder why he is talking about all these things, because data analysis will happen based on these mathematical subjects only. So when you claim that you have interest and you have studied these things very well, and it means that you are a right candidate for that particular admission. I have also studied data structures, which were the beginning of my interest and played a crucial role in forming my choices. Because again, next you talk about one straight away connected subject, data structure, what way it is going to help you in the future. Look at the second line, next thing. So this talks about what are the specific subjects you studied, it is going to be relevant to data science. Next paragraph, I have interned at, already I have told you that. In case you don't have experience, you have intensive experience. Here he has mentioned it. I have interned at 2 different firms that specialized in performing data analytics tasks to help research for companies aiming for start a new project. So he mentioned about where he did interns. Then my project made extensive use of Python and C++ and I have learnt a lot about these programming languages during my internship. So he has clearly mentioned about his experience in internship. The next line also, it will continue the same thing. I had to analyze the real-time purchasing and location data to determine the preferences of potential consumers. I wish to use my knowledge and skills in data science to provide well-sustained research and analysis for companies. Here you are establishing that through your intensive experience, you understood the real-life usage of the data, how they have employed through your internship project. You understood. You want to use those things in your future. It means that you have a proper connection. Next thing. Throughout my graduation and practical work experience, he is linking his graduation and practical experience. I was fortunate to gain some required experience in the domain of analytics. That's what I already told you. He mentioned about his UG and experience. Now he is connecting because both helped me to acquire some required experience in the domain of analytics. I believe that curiosity and eagerness to learn can take you places. I wish to learn everything I can in the field of data science, as I believe there is still a long way to go for me. It means that you have, even though you got some experience, still you are accepting your weakness. Not weakness, the scope for improvement, long way to go. This master's program will this is now you are consolidating why you are a right candidate. This master's program will thus be a step towards achieving my dreams. This program will train me in different methods of statistical analysis and programming knowledge needed to continue with my goal to provide research for companies. This is what your goal. So you are connecting with your goal. University name, probably you can add the university name. For example, University of Toronto has been my dream institute to pursue this course, as I wish to take the benefits of the expert knowledge provided by the skilled faculty of the university. Here you need to appreciate them, and you can mention about them why do you want to get into that particular university. Through this degree, I aim to enhance my knowledge and experience in programming and mathematics. After completing my MS, I wish to get into the field of health analytics, as I believe that medical industry will be subjected to change and growth with technological advancement. The practical knowledge will give me the technical expertise to pursue my career as a data scientist. So further you have clearly told them after your MS data science what is your plan, also you have clearly elaborated them. So now you have made clearly everything, you have made everything crystal clear. So the 4-part section which I have discussed in the presentation, all those things I have clearly explained you. Just you can check it up. I'll give these links and you can take it up, and you can finally analyze, and you can write on your own. Now if you have questions, you can ask me.